Okay.
Lekker. Morning, buddy. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you, Jason?
Yeah, top of the pops, pal.
So, Yachty World, this is Jason Hunter from Superyacht South Africa. I started my career with Jason in 2011, and now we're going to talk a bit about how to get started in the yachting industry. Jason, when did you get started in the yachting industry?
Sure, buddy. It's actually a funny question that I pose to my students quite often, because I say I started in 1999, and I always ask them who was born yet. And nowadays the hand is getting raised less and less. So yeah, long time ago. Very much a different industry back then. So I suppose what I mean by that is that none of us were really prepared qualification-wise for the industry. You know, those of us that were lucky enough to be brought up on boats like I was, we had some form of skill, or, well, I suppose skill that we could offer the boat, but we learned the job on the job. Mm-hmm. So I was one of the lucky ones to witness that change from a bunch of amateurs, which is what we were, to suddenly crew going and investing in themselves so they could add value straight off the bat. The problem that we found, though, is that a lot of crew were completing sailing qualifications for a motor industry. Mm-hmm. So, you know, in the sailing industry, there's obviously sails, and in ours, yeah, completely different. So that was what prompted me to actually leave big boats. So I left big yachts around about 2008. And while I was on board still, started working on some content to create a training course specifically for our industry. So that is pretty much how we started Superyachting South Africa, with one training course. We've built it up over time. So we've got a comprehensive offering for our crew nowadays. Wow. And yeah, I suppose that's the little intro, hey?
Yeah, nice. And who is Jason Hunter? Like, how did you... What made you decide to get into the superyachting industry? What was the deciding factor?
Well, look, I was very lucky in that my two older brothers, they both went off and started working on boats before me. I actually started working on a cruise ship first, which was in 1998. Mm-hmm. And we compared stories afterwards. And even though the cruise ship industry was a great starting point, completely different to motor yachts, as we know. Wow. So we compared stories, we compared bank accounts. And that's what made the decision for me. So, yeah, that's why I joined the boats.
Nice. And where did you get started? Where was it?
I started off on a yacht in San Remo in Italy. It was an interesting gig because the captain was also the owner. So, yeah, very much cash flow constraints and a very busy charter boat. You know, this guy was obviously looking to maximize any potential income that he could get off the boat. So yeah, started off on a 57 meter, and yeah, slowly but surely, slightly different mindset back then. You know, we were all working in the industry to travel. So, you know, the traveling opportunities, got some cash together, went off snowboarding, went off surfing in Australia and Indonesia and stuff like that. So I didn't really take the progression role very seriously initially. But eventually what happened, I kind of got kicked up into position where suddenly more responsibility, extra dollars in the bank account, and actually realized that progression in the industry is a hell of a lot better than being a junior deck rat. So yeah, that's when I started to take it a lot more seriously. And that's where, like I say, we got to witness this change from amateurs to professionalism, where yacht crew nowadays are exceptionally professional. They take their roles and their jobs on board very seriously. And the reality is that if you put your head down and you knuckle down nowadays, you can power through the ranks. So that's probably the biggest, what's the word that I'm looking for? I suppose our feel-good factor for what we do, you know, is having observed all the crew that we've trained over the years. We've been doing this for a very long time now. We're 12 years in. So we've got guys that started off, you know, with their junior courses with us, and social media is obviously a massive bonus because we can see what they're posting online. Mm-hmm. And seeing these guys powering through the ranks, it's a game-changing industry, mate. And that's why one of the things that we put across to our students is it doesn't really matter how difficult it is when you start out, because the light at the end of the tunnel is basically life-changing.